Oh, I watched Velma. How many of them have you seen?
5.
Okay, I only finished the fourth one.
And
Um,
I've consumed a little content on the side of the rest of it because I wasn't gonna. I couldn't stomach it anymore.
it's
If I'm being honest with you.
okay. It's Give me your idea though. Give me a hit me.
It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Okay, you're okay. I just thought it was blah. It was average. It was a it's a comedy written. It's an average, below average, a little bit average comedy written by people who are on Twitter all day.
It was.
The worst thing I've ever seen.
I think
It's
that
I've seen much worse,
I
honestly.
watched it and felt repulsed more than I felt like laughing.
And that repulsion is the thing I want to dig into. I wasn't repulsed by it. It's not that funny. I laughed at one of the background jokes. One of the back there was setups for the clubs at school, and there was a debate club, and then there was a better debate club, and I thought that was hilarious. Uh, and they were yelling at each other, obviously. Um, Something about that just seems funny to me. Is that there'd be a debate club and a better debate club, and what would they do to each
I
other?
mean,
Well, they would argue and they would debate each other. Um, I want to call. I'm going to make it a tagline of ours that we're the better debate bros. Uh,
fair enough.
what are you going to do? Argue with us? No, no shit. Kyle says
Best of
it's on par
HBO
with the rest of
cartoons.
HBO cartoons. Um,
I don't know if there's much of a bar there.
uh, yeah, I don't think it's good. It's not good, but it's not the repulsive end of Western society that the internet made me think it was.
I wouldn't call it the end of Western society either. I would just call it repulsive. I
Well,
mean,
you haven't, but the the online YouTube videos are screaming about how horrible and woke it is, and I don't even think it's woke. If it were doing a performative wokeness, Velma would be right all the time and correct. She's not. I've only seen four of them, and she's like wrong all the time, and nobody likes her, and she's harsh and a bad person. If it were woke, it would suggest that her differences, her things that make her different, are better, or make her better, or make her right, and she's just wrong all the time.
yeah, I mean, there aren't actually any likable characters in the show.
Yeah, I agree. There
Um,
aren't any likable characters. Yeah, I can see that.
and you don't have anyone to root for. Um,
Yeah, I can
uh,
see that as well.
if there was one character that would be likable at first, it'd be Norville, who's not Shaggy.
Right.
Um, but then he ends up coming up with like this scheme to blackmail Velma into falling in love with him.
Hmm.
And it's like, what the fuck am I watching right now? Like the um, they took a an intellectual property that you know generations of people at this point have grown up with
Hmm.
and they love, and completely bastardized it and debased every character.
If it were just a different title, would you have a higher opinion of it? Let's abandon the word Velma entirely. What if it were
So for a
just?
different title and they had different character models so that it didn't look like Scooby Doo,
Hmm.
um, they didn't call it Velma or
Yeah,
uh,
let's strip all the. I mean, 90% of the Scooby Doo stuff is already stripped, but let's strip the last 10%.
I would be less mad at it,
Okay.
but I would still find it repulsive when I watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
So my distaste or my dislike of it would go slightly down, but my distaste for it would still be at the same level.
Okay. Okay.
but it's just not good.
Yeah.
The I don't think any of the jokes really landed at all. Um, and then the ones that they have, there's some ones that are just awful. Like um, in episode one, they have like two cockroaches come out from under the trash and just start fucking in front of this one chick. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's not funny. It's just weird and gross. Like,
It was intending to tell you that the school was gross. Like, it's a bad place. It's not a good place. It's I know they're going for shock, and they're going for. I think this is a. They're trying to be Rick and Morty. You know, you're not. I mean, is Rick a good guy? No. Is Morty a person you want to hang out with? Probably not. And that's what they're kind of going for. They see this Rick and Morty that gets all this attention, and it's filled with bad people and bad characters. And I'm not meaning badly created characters. I'm just saying bad people, people you might not want to hang around with, people who have problems and flaws, and everybody loves it. And I think that it's because it's well written, and I mean, Rick and Morty's well written, and Velma just isn't. It's written by people who are on Twitter all day trying to copy Rick and Morty.
yeah. I actually don't like Rick and Morty very much either. But
Okay, that is. I don't know if I'm surprised by that or not.
I think it's because I don't like ugly things, and I don't find that art style attractive at all.
Okay.
So just watching it in the first place is like, but then also, I think the jokes, like the whole, um, like Morty or Rick constantly doing his like burping thing, and
Mhm.
some of it just is like, why am I watching this?
Mhm.
So yeah, I can't get past the aesthetic, I think, with Rick and Morty.
Okay. Um, that's fine. I like Rick and Morty, but mostly because it's like referencing things that I get and I know. You know, when they make jokes about multiverses or uh, the Marvel universe or Star Trek or something like that, I get it. It's funny. Um,
Yeah, I
there
mean,
was
I've
there
seen a
was.
handful of episodes, um, and they do have a lot more jokes that land than Velma does.
Mhm. I think they're
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I think the aesthetic is something I have a hard time getting around.
Mm. Kyle asks if you're an Invader Zim fan.
Um, that one I have a different history with because it came out when I was in middle or high school,
Hmm.
middle school, I think,
Hmm.
and and this girl I liked actually had like a Zim dog backpack thing and whatnot, so I watched it a little bit for that.
Hmm.
But overall, I'd give that one, yeah, the art style.
Art
If I
style
watched
bad.
it today, I'd
Okay.
probably not appreciate the art style very much.
Okay. I have no opinion on Invader Zim. I was too old for it. When it started on Nickelodeon in 2000, I was not a kid. And I was trying not to be a kid, you know? I was, what, 18 at that time? So I was trying real hard not to be a child. So I've never seen it. Don't know it.
Reasonable.
Um, Also, the reason I've never been a big fan of Harry Potter. I mean, that came out around the same time. I wasn't going to watch kid stuff. I was watching good anime back in the year 2000.
Mm.
speaking of good anime, there's a new one that's very good called The Fire Hunter, but it's not on here. All right. Um, so you watch much anime?
Yeah, I watched some. I saw Chainsaw Man.
Mm-hmm.
I saw My Hero Academia.
Mm-hmm.
There's shoot, what else have I watched lately? Jujutsu Kaisen
I
was
like that
pretty
one.
good.
Well,
And there was one that was on Netflix. It was like a fighting one, like in a ring and everything. The God of High School.
God of High School, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I have issues with that one. But it was,
yeah. And then
it,
there was I have my issues with that one too, but I thought it was okay.
I think it could have been okay. They do
It was,
the opposite of DBZ. DBZ will have one fight last 9 episodes, and a good chunk of it is just guys growling and charging up.
yeah,
And they do the opposite. They fly through their entire roster of fighters in 3 episodes, and then like by the fourth episode, they've gone through every single person that was in the intro credits, and they've all lost. And I was like, wow, why'd you go through it so fast? And then on like the fourth episode or something like that, the main girl is gonna get married, and the other guys have to stop it. And I was like, I don't even remember her name yet. She's been on the show for like 9 minutes, and
yeah. You're just not invested
I'm not
in
invested.
her
It's
plight.
right.
Yeah,
It's happened so fast that I don't know anything about her. These guys have spent 9 minutes with her. Like, why am I interested in the thing that's happening to her? It just goes way too fast, and I think it's weird. This is one though. This one's called The Fire Hunter. It's on the Crunchyroll. The '90s called and was like, "Hey, remember when anime was good?" And I was like, "Yeah," and it can be again. Look at that. That's '90s as hell right there.
yeah. It is. That art style is definitely old school.
Mm-hmm. And these are like
My
photos from the. This is a from the show. Like this is a screen cap. It's very good. Uh,
Yeah, it even reminds me that art style of like Berserk a little bit.
mm-hmm. Mm.
But anyway, my problem with the God of High School was that towards the end it kind of pulled out a bunch of stuff that did not have nearly enough build up,
Right.
like
That's
without
end of season
without
four
like
stuff.
yeah, yeah, that was wild. Like they needed at least another season of build up to get to what they wanted to do there.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say for that show is that the animation and choreography were top of the line. Um,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make it a good show.
Yeah.
You got to have more than that.
Yeah. They just went entirely too fast. Like we barely know the people. Yeah, end of season one, they're dropping uh,
Yeah,
football
they went.
stadium-sized god hands on people, and you're like, wait a minute, you guys, we didn't. We still
Yeah,
also
we were still in the ring fighting like primarily fist fighting
right,
like 2 episodes ago.
right,
What the hell's going on here?
and um, they've never been in high school. I can't think of a single time they were in high school. Like none of this anime takes place inside a school. None of it. Zero takes place inside a school. Like at one point, somebody mentions that it's a
Oh yeah,
fighting
except for
competition
maybe
for the high schoolers, but like I don't. You
were
don't
they
put the
in school in episode 1? That
no. I
might have
don't.
been the only time.
Maybe I don't remember ever seeing a school, but that's just me. I don't remember seeing one, and if they did, it was so fast that you blinked and missed it.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, they could
that might
have
have been the only one.
could have, like, I don't know, spent a little bit more time.
And then when you consider it's the god of high school, then you realize that the girl that's being married apparently in episode 4 is like 16.
Yeah, well, that's anime. That's just what we have to deal with now. Um, have I given you my Outlaw Star rant?
No, I've
Okay,
actually never seen it.
Outlaw Star. Now, I love the fact that you've never seen it because what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about the first episode, and you're not going to believe me.
Oh God.
Um,
All right.
Generic anime pro tag. So this is an issue I have with anime lately. Is these boys right here? These guys. I can't name any of them, but they're in the largest animes like ever to
Oh
exist.
shit. I
They're
might get a couple of them.
right,
One of them is gonna be Kirito.
right. I think this is him, but I'm not entirely sure. It might be this one.
Yeah, I think it's the middle left one. Yeah.
Hmm.
Although, but the bottom left would be his like season 1 like cloak and shit that he wears.
But yeah, I'm not sure if that's his sword or not. Like
And then
these tiny little twerps. I don't like them. Uh, so we're gonna. So we're gonna compare that to a boy here, Gene Starwind, who is a pretty
very
cool.
unique
Right,
looking. Yeah.
right. Okay, so this is from Outlaw Star. This is from 1998. I don't see there any scores, but that's fine. Um, episode 1. Okay, the show starts. Our main character is an adult, which doesn't happen anymore.
Okay.
These are all twerpy tweens, you know? Our main character is sitting in a bar. These fools have never been in a bar in their lives. He is drinking hard liquor. These goobers would puke if they got hard liquor in their mouth. Gene Starwind is hitting on the waitress. These goobers would have a nosebleed, and never talk to her. Then, while sitting in a bar, drinking hard liquor, and flirting with a waitress, a cyborg walks in. And the cyborg says, "You killed my brother." And then the main character says, "Yes, I did. And I'm going to kill you too." And then he does. For money. And these goobers had never killed anybody. They'll fight them and they say, "Oh, come back when you've practiced." No, they don't kill people anymore. Anime used to be better. It used to be good about adults doing good, interesting, fun things. And then he kills the cyborg for money. And you know what he does with that money? He goes to a whorehouse
Nice.
and spends that money. And it's not just like the first time he's ever been there. He goes to find his favorite whore because he has one that knows his name and he knows her name and they're like friendly because that's his favorite. And these goobers, these little twerps, wouldn't know what to do with it. And this irritates me. I don't want to watch these tiny little doofuses nosebleed their way around a fantasy world for hours. I want to see a cool guy shoot things and do fun stuff and go on adventures.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like the opening to Berserk or the opening to Akira.
Mm-hmm.
If you've watched
All
those.
very old anime. They
Yeah,
don't.
really old animes that start that way.
Yeah, we don't make these aren't made anymore.
Because
It's
the opening to
all
Berserk
this.
is the guy gets confronted by like 3 mafia dudes
Mm-hmm.
and ends up like chopping them all apart.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah.
Right, and then And then he meets a pirate lady with an eye patch, and then she's super badass. And then he meets her, and then guess what? Episode 2, they totally bone. Because, human beings, adults, let's do adult things. Let's not stick with the twerpy boys. I don't like them. They're very bad. Very lame. Very boring.
I recognize a couple more of these now.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like on the bottom one, not on that picture, um, but at the bottom of your screen there, the guy in the red. That's from the irregular or the shit. The
He's so forgettable, you can't remember.
No, I've seen it. It's actually a decent show.
The regular at Magic High or something like that?
No, that's a different show.
Okay.
Um, this one is it's about a high school where only like super gifted students are put into it,
Hmm.
and they're put into four classes, and those classes compete with each other. And he's like this super genius dude that gets because he or that gets put into the lowest class, and he has to sort of manipulate things around to get people to do what he wants them to do, and
Hmm.
it's neat.
Okay.
I'm blanking on the name right now. Um, fucking that guy's name. I'll pull up my messages with somebody else. I talked about it with them.
Hmm. Well, the point is, it used to be good. It used to be cool. Anime used to be all cool and rebellious and adult and cool, but now it's not. It is lame and boring and schoolboy, and I don't like it. That's why I don't like anime that much anymore.
Called Classroom of the Elite.
Never heard of it. But um, anyway, yeah, that's my Outlaw Star rant. This this guy is great and awesome and fun and cool and fun to watch, and these boys are not. But yeah, I very much suggest uh, Outlaw Star. Highly recommend. It's one of my favorites, and it's where I think. Um, have you seen Firefly?
I've not actually.
Oh, okay.
I heard they got canceled at the or after a few seasons and never resolved anything. So
Yeah,
I figured, why would I watch something that, that I'm never going to get a resolution to?
I
You
know.
know,
Um, it's where I think they stole the idea. So over here on the left, you have Outlaw Star, the anime, has this girl in a box. The pirate lady was smuggling her, and here is Firefly with a girl in a box, like a year later. You know. It, so yeah. See, this is good. This is great. This is when anime was good, and it's not good anymore.
hmm. Firefly did a lot of things with references, though, didn't they? Like
Maybe.
that's my
Um,
understanding, at least. They had like major mythological characters and stuff in it, right? Or am I
no.
thinking of something
You're
else?
thinking of something else. Firefly was just space cowboys,
Oh, okay.
and it borrowed a few things from both Outlaw Star and Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think just about all of the anime I've seen lately. I don't know if there are many adults in them.
Right.
other
It's
than
all
like Dragon Ball Z.
yeah, it's all kids. And God, don't even get me started on Dragon Ball Z. I quit watching Super halfway through. I didn't even want to finish Z back in the day. It wasn't that good, but I didn't have a whole lot of choice in the early 2000s on what anime to watch. There wasn't Crunchyroll didn't exist, you know. So I watched Dragon Ball thinking it was great, and then I didn't like it that much, but I didn't have a lot of choice. If you weren't watching Dragon Ball in the late 90s, early 2000s, you weren't watching any anime, you know.
Yeah, it was on Toonami all the time.
Mm-hmm. I didn't like the way it ended. I don't like Goku that much, and I quit Super when they just completely ruined uh, one of my favorite characters. You don't have to like her, but Videl was interesting, you know. Um,
Okay.
so Videl was the daughter of Hercule, right?
Uh-huh.
She
Yeah, I'm familiar.
thought he actually saved the world, just like all the humans on this planet think that Hercule actually saved the world and defeated Cell. We know that he didn't, but she doesn't know that. And because she thinks he's great, she became an actual, literal crime fighting superhero. The first time you're introduced to her, she jumps onto a moving bus, crashes in through the side, and karate kicks a whole bunch of armed terrorists with guns. Because she thinks that she can. And we know that it's a lie. And I think that's an interesting character trait to base it off of, because she is basing her entire life off of a huge lie that Mr. Hercule, Mr. Satan, is a superhero who has given her genes that she can like work with and become a superhero. This is great. And what you do with that character is you put her in situations with actual superpowered people, like that are really powerful, and then she fails and she doesn't understand why, and she has to come to grips with it. This is a fun narrative. This is a fun story. None of that happens. It kind of happens with the big bald guy that she fights when he doesn't die and stuff like that, and he's way more powerful than her. And she has some problems with it. And instead of doing anything interesting with it, they turn her into a womb. She just has nothing going on in Dragon Ball Z. I mean, Dragon Ball Super, except for uh, she is a baby factory. Um, have you watched Dragon Ball Super?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, if I
Um,
remember her correct, if I remember her lines correctly from Dragon Ball Super, it was "baby, baby, dinner, husband, baby." That was her line. Like that's what she said. And then I was
wow,
like, "Wait,
I don't
what's
remember
going
that.
on?" And then she was like, and then Gohan like has a sentence and says something, and she says, "Dinner, husband, baby, 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 dinner, husband, dinner, husband." And I was like, "What have you done? What did you do? Why?
I don't think I
Why isn't
remember
she a
that at
human
all.
being anymore?" She's just a
Okay.
baby factory. She doesn't do anything else other than baby dinner husband. That is her
You don't want to change
entire
the title of the stream, by the way.
to
I don't
anime
know. We're talking
rants.
about anime. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think I know how to do that. I think I know how to do that.
Yeah, Videl was never more than a side character for me. Uh, I my favorite character was always Vegeta.
Yeah, and that's a thing that can happen. I get that he's really cool. I like Vegeta. It's just that he's not allowed to win fights.
Yeah, that's a little frustrating.
He's not allowed to win. Just I don't know if he could beat up uh, a wooden plank. Like I don't know if he would be allowed to win. If it was Vegeta versus an inanimate object, like a chair, Vegeta versus a chair, I think the chair might win. Uh, just because they always screw him over. I don't know why.
Yeah, he did get to kill Android 19. That was a pretty badass fight.
Yeah, but then I'm sure he lost to a different android 5 minutes later.
Yes, that's true. Well,
Any
depending on
victory he
what
has,
version of Dragon Ball Z you've
I
watched,
think it
yeah.
was I think I watched him in Super. He was fighting uh, Frieza again, and he won. But then Frieza blew up the planet, and they had to rewind time, and let Goku kill Frieza. And I was like, what the hell? You can't just let Vegeta win a fight. I don't know. It was very weird. I really did dislike that time rewindy thing uh, because Vegeta's not allowed to win. Um, and I don't remember how to change the name of the stream, so I'm not gonna. I'll
Fair enough.
figure it out later. I'll talk to my tech support and see if I can't figure it out. But yeah, now we're just ranting about Animu. Um, so that's about all I had. We talked about Velma. I had my Outlaw Star rant, and is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything you watched that was good or bad?
No, not in particular.
All right. Well, I think we should call it here. I've got an appointment later this afternoon. Not that I need to rush out or anything like that, but I think we're at the end.
All right,
Uh, as usual, I appreciate you coming on. Always fun stuff to talk about and
of course.
rant at each other about. Um, if you got any plans or anything you want to talk about next week, I'm just gonna keep watching uh, uh, George Santos and Ron DeSantis. I think those are interesting to me. But if there's anything that's interesting to you, hit me up. Let me know. Send me a link. Um, if you're watching, please like, share, subscribe, unring the bell, unsubscribe. Those are the things, right? We want people to unsubscribe.
Ah, the reverse psychology
Right,
method. Set.
right. Uh, and we will be back next week at 10 o'clock in the AM on Saturday. That's just the best time for us. Do you want to watch the, what's the word? State of the Union?
Sure.
Um, Tuesday, February 7th at 6 p.m. That's probably Eastern. 5, 4,
That
3.
was 9 Eastern,
No, it's 9
6 p.m.
Eastern. Okay, 9. Okay, 9 Eastern. Do you want to live stream that and then complain about it? Or is that a thing that you would want to do?
Sure.
Okay, we can try it. We will try that out. So Tuesday, February 7th, uh, 9, 6 p.m. for me and you. And we'll watch the thing. And then we'll laugh at the thing. And then we'll all stand up and clap. Unless we don't stand up and clap because we don't like the thing he said.
All right.
Just like the people inside there. Yeah, that's what they do. Uh, I'll talk to you then.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. Everybody have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, hi. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button, press the subscribe button. Uh, if you want to tell me how right I am, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to tell me how wrong I am, leave a comment too. That's good. Um, this is just kind of a hobby for me, so I appreciate you coming by, giving it a watch, and pressing the YouTube buttons. Thanks.